Sasha was beautiful, talented, and full of life. From the moment she joined TikTok, she became obsessed. What started as fun quickly turned into an addiction. Her videos were captivating, she danced effortlessly, her moves fluid, her beauty undeniable. Within months, she had gained hundreds of thousands of followers, and soon, millions. Brand deals started pouring in, companies wanted her to promote their products, and Sasha loved every bit of it. The fame, the attention, the engagement, it was all intoxicating. But while her online world flourished, her real life began to suffer. Her fiancé, Daniel, adored her. He had always been supportive of her passion, even appearing in some of her videos. But he often warned her about getting too consumed by social media. "Sasha, TikTok is great, but don't let it take over your life," he would say. Sasha would laugh it off, assuring him that she had everything under control. Her widowed mother was even more worried. "Sasha, my daughter, you are my only child. You must learn balance," she often reminded her. But Sasha didn't listen. She was too focused on growing her platform. Sometimes, she got so lost in filming that food burned on the stove, or she forgot to do simple house chores. She would promise to step away for a bit, but then another trend would go viral, another dance challenge would pop up, and she couldn't resist. Even when she was live streaming, she barely noticed what was happening around her. Her followers loved her energy, her confidence, and her beauty. They showered her with praise, calling her a queen, goddess, and the best dancer in Nigeria. She soaked it all in, unaware that those closest to her were starting to feel like strangers in her life. Still, Daniel believed she would change. They had a beautiful wedding in Lagos, surrounded by family and friends. Even at the wedding, Sasha couldn't resist going live, sharing moments with her followers. Daniel smiled through it, choosing to believe that once they settled into married life, she would focus more on their home. A year into their marriage, they welcomed a baby girl, Ife. She was perfect, her tiny fingers wrapped around Sasha's hand, her eyes filled with innocence and wonder. Holding her daughter for the first time, Sasha promised to be a good mother. She told herself she would be present, she would give Ife all the love and attention she deserved. Daniel was relieved. Maybe, just maybe, motherhood would ground her. When Sasha got a new job at a top firm, he was even more hopeful. A structured environment, a reason to wake up early, something to keep her occupied outside of social media, he was sure this was the change she needed. But barely a week into her new job, she was fired. Every morning, before leaving for work, Sasha insisted on recording a video. She would dress up, do her makeup, and set up her ring light, telling herself it would only take 5 minutes. But 5 minutes turned into 10, then 20, then 30. She was consistently late. Her boss warned her multiple times, but she didn't listen. Then, on her last day, after showing up nearly an hour late again, she was handed a termination letter. Instead of looking for another job, Sasha convinced herself that TikTok was her real career. She already had over 1 million followers, and brands were reaching out with sponsorships. She told Daniel it was better this way, she could stay home with Ife while making money from content creation. At first, it seemed to work. She managed the house, took care of the baby, and still had time to make her videos. But soon, TikTok became the main thing, and everything else, the baby, the house, even her husband, became secondary. Daniel started noticing the change. Some evenings, he would come home to find the house in chaos, dirty dishes in the sink, baby clothes scattered all over, and Ife crying in her crib. Sasha would be sitting on the couch, laughing at her phone, lost in her notifications. One evening, he walked into the kitchen to find smoke rising from the stove. Rushing in, he saw a pot completely burned. "Sasha," he called. She barely looked up, too focused on replying to comments on her latest video. His patience was wearing thin. Feeling helpless, he called Mama Chioma and told her everything. The older woman sighed deeply and later called her daughter. "Sasha, my daughter, be careful before it's too late," she warned. Sasha sighed, rolling her eyes. "Mama, everything is fine." One bright morning, the weather was perfect for a video. The sky was clear, and the sunlight made the flowers in their compound look more vibrant. Sasha was excited. This was the perfect setting for content. She put Ife to sleep in her crib, then rushed outside to set up her tripod. Dressed in a stylish two-piece outfit, she started dancing, getting lost in her moves. The engagement on her last video had been high, and she wanted to keep the momentum going. She was too focused to notice that the front gate was slightly open. Inside the house, Ife woke up. She blinked, looked around, and realized her mother wasn't there. Curious, she climbed out of her crib. Crawling through the hallway and past the front door, she called out softly. No answer. She kept going, moving toward the open gate. Just then, a car drove through the estate street. The driver, focused on the road, didn't see the tiny figure crawling ahead. Then came the sound that shattered everything. A loud thud. A piercing cry. Sasha turned, her heart stopping at the sight of her baby lying on the pavement. The car sped off before she could even see the driver's face. Her scream echoed through the compound. Panicking, she scooped Ife into her arms. Sasha's hands trembled as she rushed to the hospital, her mind spiraling with fear. She called Daniel, barely able to speak. By the time Daniel arrived at the hospital, his anger was uncontrollable. His daughter, his precious little girl, was fighting for her life because her mother was too busy making videos. He drove straight home, gathered Sasha's belongings, and threw them outside. When she returned, exhausted from waiting at the hospital, she found her bags at the doorstep. Daniel stood there, his face unreadable. "You will never see Ife again," he said coldly. "If you cared about her, this wouldn't have happened." Sasha dropped to her knees, sobbing. With nowhere else to go, she went to her mother's house. Mama Chioma comforted her but didn't hesitate to remind her, "I warned you, my daughter." Weeks passed. Ife was released from the hospital, but Sasha was not allowed to visit. Every day, she lived with regret, knowing she had almost lost everything. She deleted TikTok from her phone and focused on what truly mattered. One day, swallowing her pride, she returned to Daniel's house. She knelt at the doorstep, pleading for another chance. She had changed. She had learned her lesson. Daniel remained silent for a long time, staring at the woman he once loved. After much pleading, he finally forgave her. It wasn't easy, but slowly, they rebuilt their home. Sasha never let TikTok control her life again. She still danced, still created content, but this time, she knew where to draw the line. She had learned, in the hardest way, that some things in life are too precious to risk for fleeting moments of fame. Social media can be exciting, but when it starts replacing real-life responsibilities, it becomes dangerous. Sasha learned that fame and money are meaningless if they come at the cost of the people who truly love you. Balance is key. Passions should never come before family. There is so much to learn from this story. 1. Family comes first. No amount of fame, money, or online validation is worth neglecting the people who love and depend on you. Sasha learned that real-life relationships matter more than social media engagement. 2. Balance is key. Passion is important, but it should never consume your life to the point where responsibilities are ignored. Sasha's obsession with TikTok cost her a job, almost her marriage, and nearly her child's life. Finding balance between work, hobbies, and family is essential. 3. Fame is fleeting, but family is forever. The millions of followers who admired Sasha online could not help her when she was at her lowest. It was her family, her husband and mother, who truly cared, even when they were disappointed in her. 4. Listen to those who care about you. Sasha ignored the warnings from her husband and mother because she believed she had everything under control. But their concerns were valid. Sometimes, The people closest to us see what we refuse to acknowledge. 5. Responsibility should never be ignored. As a mother, Sasha had a duty to protect her child. Neglecting that responsibility, even for a moment, had devastating consequences. No matter how passionate we are about something, we should never let it interfere with our basic duties. 6. Regret is a heavy burden. Sasha had to live with the guilt of almost losing Ife. It took losing everything for her to realize her mistakes. Learning lessons the hard way is painful, but avoiding preventable mistakes by listening and being self-aware can save us from deep regret. 7. Technology and social media should be used wisely. Social media is a great tool for creativity and income, but when it starts controlling your life, it becomes toxic. Sasha's story is a reminder that being present in the real world is more important than being famous online. 8. Forgiveness and second chances are priceless. Despite everything, Daniel found it in his heart to forgive Sasha. Healing takes time, but when someone is truly remorseful and willing to change, redemption is possible.